And we're back for episode 2 of season 7.
Oh my God, we're all together.
We're all together.
Yeah, it's been a long time, huh?
Yeah, so,
It's been a long time, huh?
Huh? I don't know.
You were really asking about the board op again. That made him really happy.
how did you like running
boy,
the
it
board
was so
for my
much
radio
fun.
broadcast this weekend?
I pushed at least 5 or 6 buttons.
Yeah, you did.
At a time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
hardly
did.
ever get to push buttons.
The look on your face when I was showing you what to do on Saturday,
Yeah.
I can imagine that's the face that I made a month ago.
And these are real buttons, too. It's not like a touch screen. Like, you hardly ever get to push an actual button these days.
Just like you see, I know, right? It's
Yeah.
all screen, which you were telling me that one of those programs is meant for a touch screen.
Right.
We're not that technologically advanced, so we still got the fancy buttons.
Correct.
I'm worried about the computer stealing my fingerprints and, like, duplicating me into a cybernetic clone.
Yeah, you're worried about
Something like
computer
that.
identity theft?
Yeah.
You talking like Russell Crowe? Oh.
All right, now we're talking about
Virtuosity.
The Walking Dead.
Oh, that's right.
A minute into it, we're talking about robots.
I told you this was going to happen when we get JP in here. You're going to fight twice. It's hard to keep us on.
I think it's a legitimate concern. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so episode 2 of season 7.
Oh, man.
The Walking Dead. I actually really enjoyed this episode. I thought I wasn't going from something so intense to, away from that group.
Nice
I was like, I want to
change
know
of-
what they're doing.
Yeah.
But I actually
Nice change
really
of pace.
enjoyed it. How about you, JP?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty darn good. I like Carol, cozying up to, that's not even a word, cozy.
Cozying up?
Yeah.
It was so cozy that they felt like cousins. They were
Yeah.
cozying up.
That's creepy.
Is that what never mind. I was going to make a West Virginia joke, but never mind.
Oh, jeez, it's too early. We do not
This is
do
early.
This
See, it's not early. We've been up for a few
Yeah.
hours now, but this is early for you. I
Yeah.
like this more doing this in the morning when it's fresh, though.
Yeah, I do too. All right, so I actually really liked this episode, and I was worried when I saw the guy playing Ezekiel, because I was like, man, Ezekiel's kind of like a bigger guy and just kind of like that big, jolly, friendly uncle. But I really like this guy's portrayal of Ezekiel.
Yeah,
Like
man.
I really like it. It wasn't like 10 minutes in a meeting and I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this.
And he's sexier. I mean, you
He
can't
is much
deny that.
sexier.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
we
got a
gotta
good.
look good,
He's got a
yeah.
good angry face too. Like when he stabbed the zombie and gave that kind of stare, and when they were against the saviors, and Richard was fighting the guy, and he's like, "I said stop" or whatever he says. He's got that angry look. I was like, he's got a good angry look.
Yeah, and it's like I was telling you earlier. I think it's just like Negan. It's the whole the acting of these characters is what's going to make them large and
Right.
over the top. Like
As
they
opposed
look
to what
big
they
in the
look
drawings,
like, right.
So you have to kind of accept that. I'm waiting for the episode when they reveal that Glenn is still alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Looking forward
Like I
to
said,
that.
he's hiding under one of those.
He's
trucks.
hiding under the bat,
Dude,
He's
wait
totally under the
until
bat.
you start picking up the clues that Carl is actually the one that got killed.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah,
and, that's a stretch.
No,
that's a little bit of a stretch.
stretch.
That's like a Saint
Please.
Elsewhere kind of thing, where the whole
Please.
thing was a figment of his imagination, and the little Down syndrome
Dude,
kids looking at
but
the snow globe.
Everything we saw from the Negan assassination, not that he got assassinated, from him bashing it, was all from Rick's consciousness.
Consciousness.
He
So you
was
think this whole season is going to be like a dream sequence?
I'm gonna say if we see Carl, he's actually just a figment of Rick's imagination.
If that okay, I'm saying it right here, right now. If that happens, I
Yeah.
will give you $50 cash, a $50 bill. If that happens, if so help me, if it happens, I will never watch The Walking Dead again.
Dude, the first clue is going to be when Rick sees like a faded Sharpie line on his own forearm because Negan was actually about to cut his arm off, but he's imagining it the way, we saw.
All right. That was great for episode 1. Now on to episode 2.
Oh, that's right. Negan, none of them were in this one at all.
No, not at all. And I just was wondering how it was going to be because I really like Carol, especially in this episode. She really showed a great variety of acting chops in one episode. Like
she's awesome.
she was ditzy Carol for a bit, she was sweet Carol, and then she was just a Carol. I loved it when Ezekiel was like, look, what's that saying? You can't bullshit a bullshitter. And I love it when he sat down and just leveled with it. He's like, all right, listen.
Yeah.
He just completely lets it go from, I'm going to have a talk with thee, and just like, all right, look, here's what's up.
Yeah, that's another thing I was telling you about. Shiva looks amazing.
She does look a
I was
lot
nervous
better
about
than
it
I
being
thought
too
a computer.
CGI, which apparently it's part CGI and part practical effects. Like there's
Right.
apparently somebody in a suit or some kind of stand-in or something.
I want that
kind of like
job.
the
Would
Planet
you
of
rather
Apes
be
kind
the
of thing.
front of the tiger or the back of the tiger?
Oh, the front for sure.
Oh, I'd be the back.
Because
Let's
she's a
do it.
girl. She's got a mate. I'm not down to be the
Oh, I
rear
didn't
end of the
think about
meeting.
it. See, I didn't think about all
See,
that.
that's why I'm here. I keep
Wow,
you guys.
I don't
keep
wanna
you
be on the
guys
back of that
safe.
anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
So in real life, these actors have to actually get plowed by a male
Right, like,
tiger.
how do you think they reproduce?
That's method acting at its finest.
That's right.
there.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I bet James Franco would do it.
I bet that's not great.
But so I agree.
Oh,
I
I
think
was
the
happy
tiger
with
looks
that.
a lot better. Because of course it's like you can't get it's going to be hard to get a real tiger in there to do what you want. So I thought, definitely kudos on the CGI tiger. It doesn't look nearly as cheesy as I thought it would.
No.
And again, I am really happy with Ezekiel, man. I really, really like this guy, and he's actually bald in real life.
Oh, I didn't know
He's
that.
actually like bald,
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
like
with that
Will
much
Smith.
hair,
And Will Smith is
golly.
Deadshot bald.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's pretty
I
bald.
know that's not his hair. That's a
pretty
wig. But
Trying to think like Lex Luthor on Smallville, bald.
Yes.
So we're talking.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
So Mr. Clean bald. I could keep
boy.
going on this.
and the guy himself, I watched a little bit of The Talking Dead afterwards, and the guy that plays him is awesome. Like he seems so happy to be on the show.
I bet
you know what
he
I mean?
is.
He just like seems to like really, and he gets like defensive over his character too. I love it because he said, Chris Hardwick kept saying something about pretending. He's like, I'm gonna have to stop you there. You keep saying pretending, but there's no pretending. You're in make believe or whatever he said. He's like, there's no make believe. It's a kingdom and everybody's fed and happy, and it's not make believe. It actually is working. I'm like, man, I love that. Like he's taking up for his character.
Put Chris Hardwick in
hardcore.
his place. That would have been awesome if he punched
I
him in
like
the
Chris
mouth.
Hardwick for the record. I think he does a fantastic job.
I got to see him in California.
I remember.
I mean, he's
I bet
very
you didn't
small
talk all
fellow.
that trash in real life, did you?
No.
All of them are. Everybody
yelled
affiliated with this show is tiny.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Rick and Daryl are both like 5'10", which isn't tiny, but it's still not
With
as
forced
big as they look.
perspective and other, it's like with Tom Cruise. They got to make him look bigger, so they just get shorter.
Jesus is tiny fella. He's not much
I never
bigger than
realized
Glenn.
that.
Glenn's
Short as
tiny.
Danica
Yeah.
Patrick, she was a tiny.
Oh man, we saw her this weekend. She was teeny.
How'd she look?
And I'm not going to go too long on this because this is a Walking Dead podcast, but I have got to give Matt a shout out. So for those of you that don't, or hadn't, I don't know if we did mention it a little bit last week, but if you didn't listen to last week's, Matt is now working at the radio station. I'm slowly working JP in.
Yeah, JP had his first real weekend here operating the board.
in there.
And I put him on. You were on the air with us this morning. On the air.
So like literally right
doing a
before
little
this.
skit.
Some character
JP
work.
has been worked
Lester
in there.
Perlman.
But Matt actually got to meet and interview his first sci-fi celebrity this week.
That was so Trisha Helfer, number 6 from Battlestar Galactica. She was on that PlayStation show Powers.
Lucifer.
She's on Lucifer right now. I'm tall.
Very
I'm like
tall.
5'9", so anybody's pretty much tall to me.
I'm like 5'11" and a half.
Man, dude, I mean,
almost 6.
beautiful. And so, like,
She's taller than me.
approachable. And it sucks because I was trying to get her interview, and this was my first, like, real celebrity interview, and I was nervous. So, like, my thumb is, like, shaking, and I'm hoping she doesn't
The
see
whole
it.
time he did it, I thought, oh man, this is going to be bad but he was a gentleman. She went to eat. I mean, that's how it's cool that we were just that interactive with her. Like we're sitting there eating, and Matt gets done eating, and it's like, you can sit here, and lets her sit in his seat, and then gets up, and then afterwards, see, he was smart. He buttered the biscuit.
That's right.
He buttered the biscuit.
I would totally butter her biscuit, man.
So if you don't know who she is, say her name again.
Trisha Helfer.
Google her, do Battlestar Galactica or Lucifer.
Yeah, she's on Lucifer right now.
And you
on
can
Fox.
see, but that was Matt's first celebrity interview,
awesome.
and
she
he
was
did a great job. He did a great job.
I'd like to see her on The Walking Dead.
That would be
I'd
fantastic.
like to see more of her on TV.
Maybe we
She's a
could
really
get her
nice
on the
woman.
podcasting dead one day.
Oh, I'd call her up and be like, "This is Matt Doss."
You could contact her agent and say, "I've interviewed you before. I want to see if you were a Walking Dead fan." You should
call
get on
her
this.
right now.
We
Get
don't
on
want to
that.
build this up
Get
for
on
you
that.
guys,
No,
but that's exciting.
Right, get on that. Just check. We can't promise
I'll
anything.
get all over
Probably
that. I've gotta stop.
98% is not going to happen, but we'll try. We'll try for
Well, at least
the
you got
fans.
that 2%.
But so you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
But so this episode, I know we keep getting off track.
No,
This
it's okay.
episode,
I mean, not that much. This was more introductory. Like, we got some new people on the
Right.
show now, some new
but
characters.
like I said, a lot of times I feel like people, if there's ever an episode that does not feature Rick and Carl and the main like couple, I feel like people just want to scream filler episode. And I didn't feel like this was a filler because we actually were introduced to some very key players as we move through. I think we're going to see Carol take Michonne's place as Ezekiel's lover. I definitely see. Oh yeah, dude.
Or what if they show up eventually?
And here's the great thing: they have really good on-screen chemistry. See, my problem with Michonne is I think Rick and Michonne are good together as actors, but I don't. I feel like it's almost like I feel like it's almost forced. Like I don't feel the romantic chemistry, because she's just been kind of like his right hand.
Yeah, well, as soon as you said Rishon, I just remembered about them.
Right.
It's been so long since they've discussed anything. Like, it was hot and heavy really quick.
I'm
and
not
they
hardcore against it, but I feel like they just kind of did that.
They're not
to do
exploiting it. Yeah,
and I don't feel the
exactly.
chemistry. I think they have good chemistry, kind of like Rick and Daryl do as friends. Now, Carol and Ezekiel, I was sensing some good chemistry. Like there was some flirtiness. I could definitely, and they would be a good couple, a power couple on top of that, because Ezekiel can handle his own, and then you got Carol. So I predict that we're going to see Carol take Michonne's place, because comic spoiler, 3, 2, 1. Michonne shacks up with both Morgan and Ezekiel. Morgan, I think, is dead by this point.
Yeah, they're both dead.
Well, by this point in the story where she meets
right,
Ezekiel,
right.
I think Morgan's already gone.
Michonne's a real Black Widow in the comics.
Yes, she is. She jumps on it. She's vicious.
Tyrese is another one. Everyone.
So if you hook up with Michonne, you're gonna die.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
Rick, no.
Right. So I think what we're going to do is see, I mean, they could maybe, but that would be stupid if they tried to, like, Michonne falls for Ezekiel and then it just creates, it's like, I don't want Beverly Hills 90210 kind of BS here, you know. If they're going to have Michonne with Rick, I think Carol's going to take her place. JP had predicted last season that it was going to be Morgan. Huh? There is a little bit of flirting between him and Morgan. He seems very deeply intrigued by Morgan. But I see Carol taking Michonne's place and being Ezekiel's love interest, which I think would work.
And then Michonne might show up, and then he's like, "Oh, you're pretty cool too." And then maybe Carol might.
You have dreads, like we both have dreads.
Oh my God, we both have dreads. Do we just become best friends?
I use a sword. You have dreads. I have dreads.
Let's go do karate in the garage.
You are all kind of deep, and I'm deep and philosophical.
Oh.
I feel like we should have sex.
That's how every conversation goes.
Absolutely.
It's getting hot in here real quick. That's
you
all
feel
I'm
that
saying.
too? I thought it was your sweater.
So what about the saviors? Now, when they were letting the pigs eat the zombies, and they said, I want their belly full of rot. So I gather they're trying to poison the saviors.
I think it's going to come back. I think Negan already probably knows that that's what they're trying to do. So he's going to be like, you know what? Y'all take the first bite.
Right. I don't think
that was
Negan's
a terrible
quite that
Negan.
country. That's more like Rick.
You know what? You take the first bite. How was that? Was that better?
That's better. I'm going to tell you what, and I'm not going to go back to episode 1 too much. I know I try to keep us on track, but I have just again got to say, like, congratulations to Jeffrey Dean Morgan on nailing Negan, man. I've been all weekend quoting stuff from that. I'm like, look at my dirty girl.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
dirty girl.
I got to pick someone.
What did I say? I said I would shut that shit down.
No exceptions.
Guys, so with that,
you guys are good at that.
Let's get back to it.
I love it. But anyways, I'm
he's
just
awesome.
so thrilled with him.
And like I was telling you, he's going to be one of those villains where I hate him so much.
That I love him.
Like thinking about the things that he's doing, like as a character, it makes me angry, because this is the first time that the group's actually.
This is probably the most villainous thing done by any villain thus far on the show.
Right, because even the governor came in and was like nice at first, like gained
and at least he killed you like differently, like he wasn't
like Negan
so
straight up,
ruthless. And that's how apparently they introduced themselves to everyone, because Simon had said it before, and so did Homeboy on the bikes with Abraham and them. He's like, normally we start off by just popping one of you, and then Simon's like, probably going to have to kill one of you, but then we can move forward with this relationship or whatever. And then Negan has to kill somebody, so obviously it's something he does. So I think but anyways, getting off track, but still love Negan. Like, I am so excited to see him back on screen again. I was very disappointed that I still say they should have beefed him up a bit, but take that away, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's acting is phenomenal, and I don't think anyone could have quite have done it. He's done what the comic Negan did. He's already stapled himself as like a favorite in your head, even though you shouldn't like him.
Well, and with this episode, I've never really been a big fan of when they completely
go off the main.
Yeah, negate from what's going on somewhere else to focus on something else for a whole episode.
Right.
Like because they'll literally spend a whole episode on just one storyline, whereas most hour-long dramas have like 2 or 3 overarching storylines.
Right. Like Game of Thrones does. They'll flash, they don't do a whole episode for,
You'll spend 15, 20 minutes on one person, and then you'll go 15, 20 minutes on another person. And sometimes you won't see somebody for a whole episode, but you'll come back to them in the next episode. But this one, they spend the whole episode on like one story.
Yeah.
And I understand they got to introduce new people and stuff, but they could have easily been showing us like what's going on. They could,
but that's what I was going to say. This is 2 times in a row, I believe, on the same episode. Episode 2 of last season was the Wolves, right? And this is the second time we had.
Wait, no, was number 2? Okay, no, which one
was number 2, right?
Yeah, because number 3 was Eastman and Morgan. Okay.
I believe so.
Sorry.
So I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure it was episode 2 with the Wolves, because we didn't have a slow. So this is the second. So kudos to Carol, because this is the second time we've had episode 2. It goes completely away from what's happening on the main story and focuses on Carol and Morgan. Both of them, actually. And remember the Wolves episode? We loved that. We came in and we were bragging last year about how the same thing. We were like, normally when it goes away from Rick and then we're just like, what's happening with Rick? Where's Rick? But this one, it was awesome. Like, very well done episode. And now here they have again, for me at least, episode 2, again, focused on Carol and Morgan. and I wasn't disappointed. Like, I want to know what's going on with, Rick and Negan and that whole thing, but I wasn't bored at any point.
I guarantee they won't even catch us up with Rick for 2 more weeks. Next week will probably be all about Daryl.
It is. It showed it on the sneak.
Yeah, it was you that was telling me that Daryl might take Carl's place
as that weird relationship with Negan. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, this is just me thinking.
Oh boy!
And I haven't had much time to read anything because Matt and I have both been.
And I haven't had much time to read anything because I can't read.
We were working all weekend, so I haven't read much. But my thoughts, unless they've disproved this, in a comic, again, spoilers. Sorry guys, we draw comparisons here. In the comic, after Glenn's death, Carl got so enraged because unlike show Carl, comic book Carl just was awesome. Now, I do like show Carl now. I wasn't as a fan. But anyways, so comic Carl's awesome. And he wasn't, he just couldn't believe no one was going to do anything. So when the Saviors showed up to collect supplies, he sneaks into the back of Negan's truck and rides back to Negan's compound and just jumps out with an M16 and pretty much mows down some of his men. And I love it because Negan's like, I'm not going to lie, kid, you scare the shit out of me. But to get revenge, and then that's where Negan and Carl's relationship starts. So I feel like Daryl's been captured. They're going to go back, and Carl might be like, why aren't we going to save Daryl? They just killed blah, 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 blah.
Your impressions are always so spot on.
I know.
Like, I'm over here trying to do a redneck Negan, and I can't do anything.
But Carl's going to want to go save Daryl, and Rick, of course, is going to be similar to the comic Rick, where he's telling everyone out the gate, we're not going to fight them. We're going to do what they say. We can't win this. Blah, 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 blah. I hate, we've got to do it. I'm not in charge anymore. Negan is. And Carl's not going to take that. So when the Saviors show up, and, to collect their first supply run, Carl's going to jump into the back of the vehicle to go save Daryl. And then you might have Carl and Daryl. Because I just don't see Daryl becoming... Carl tells Negan he wants to kill him, but he likes him. He actually enjoys conversating with him. I don't see Daryl going that route at all. Because Daryl's responsible for Glenn's death. And I'm sorry for those that say, don't blame Daryl. I do.
Who has said that? You tell me who said that.
The internet is just all against,
the internet is a bunch of a-holes.
All on Daryl's defense.
How can you defend
Don't blame Daryl. No, Daryl, I know.
Just get off
it had to happen.
5 seconds.
It had to happen, and I know it's all written. My dad's like, this is a show, right? Right, but I mean, so is wrestling.
No, Dad, this is a way of life.
People still argue with it.
This is a passion.
I think Daryl was, in a way, trying to kill himself. He knew he'd been shot.
I think that too.
Oh, that's what
I've told.
I'll end it now.
If I'm going to go out anyway, just let
me go out by slugging this asshole.
Yeah.
That would be really great if episode 3 comes around, and then without even saying anything, it's a fade in. They're like, man, I can't believe Daryl just died of natural causes. Just completely off screen.
Yeah, man, we should have put
they're burying him.
We should have got him some penicillin for that shoulder shot.
Jeez, we could have got some mushrooms or something.
But no, I feel like I don't feel like Daryl's going to get close. But no, I do agree. I think that Daryl, obviously, he is responsible for Glenn's death. Though I don't, I know he didn't mean to. I think that, like you, I think he thought, screw this. He was just thinking with emotions and just probably figured, if anything, he was going to die for doing this. But still, this is Negan. Which obviously he doesn't know Negan any more than the little bit of time they've had. But still, I just and I've said for a couple of at least last season I've said I'm ready for Daryl to go anyways. I just feel like he gets in the way. It's like all these great chances you have to build. Like Abraham was great, and I really was much sadder to see him go than I thought I was. But he could have been so much more than he was had Daryl not been in there. Because that was like Rick's right-hand man in the comics during his run. Same thing with Tyrese. Tyrese could have been a much better character. And I really did like Tyrese. I think I'm one of the few people that actually really just liked Tyrese. I thought he was, but as
on TV show Tyrese? Yeah.
It's like, a lot of people I talk to is like, he's a wussy.
I'm like, giant.
But that's it, right? That's his thing is he doesn't want to, he's trying. I like it because he's like the painting of someone trying to, like Rick's let go of his humanity for the most part. Rick's just like, I'm going to do what I got to do to survive. And Daryl, is, I don't think he's changed much since the apocalypse happened.
Yeah.
Slightly less racist.
That's probably at least on the outside.
Not doing quite as much meth.
He probably still on the inside. He's like, oh, blacks, Mexicans.
No, and it was funny. We were. I'm not even going to tell that story. I'll tell you that after we get off the mic. But so yeah.
Oh, it's exciting.
But no, I think that I really like Tyrese. I like that one guy that really was trying to just hold on to humanity, and it showed you kind of the message I keep getting from this show is those who try to hold on to humanity die.
Yep.
The more brutal and more
Which is
savage
crazy
you
because
become,
that's what
you
they're
live.
fighting for. Like they're fighting
Right.
to gain back the humanity in the world.
But you have to be a little inhumane to get your humanity
True
back.
story.
Apparently. But so, like, all right, let me think. Richard, I really liked his. What was his sidekick's name? Was it?
What was important enough to remember?
No, he was awesome when he's like deuces. The big guy.
Oh, that
He's
guy.
pretty much going to be like a Hurley from Lost.
I can't remember his name either.
I saw it this. I
liked him. I can't remember his name, but I really liked him. Richard, I was waiting for him because I was like, wasn't his right hand man
Give us
name
the
Richard?
down in the comments. Comment their names.
Let us know their
We'll go
names.
back and look at it, but just let us know that you know.
We had a big weekend.
Big
all
weekend.
three of us.
I don't know if you heard. I met
Yeah.
Trisha Helfer this weekend. She starred about. No, we already. Okay, no. You were looking at me like, is he really going to go through it? I was like, oh, stop me, no.
Oh, you was so about to get the.
Oh, that'd have been awesome.
But like I said, I really like this episode. I'm trying to think. I really like the standoff with the Saviors when they pulled off. And he goes, he's probably going to have to go first or something. Were they talking about killing Richard?
No doubt. You gotta love the respect they're giving Ezekiel, though.
Oh yeah, that's what I like. That's I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like they're definitely like the dude talking to Ezekiel was pretty legit. It's that long haired. On this show, it's like the skinnier they are, the more douchey they're going to be. Dwight's skinny and he's douchey.
Yeah.
I'm one of those, man. In the comics, again, spoilers. Sorry. In the comics, Dwight actually, becomes someone you kind of like. I don't see myself liking TV Dwight at all.
No.
I mean, he sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
and two, I know acting is more important than the way they look, but in this instance, they picked a terrible sub in
That
for Dwight.
haircut-
This is
that
probably
haircut doesn't help
This
either.
is probably
doing
the
him any
worst.
favors.
It's probably the worst casting I think they've done the entire show. To be completely honest with you,
He looks like a raggedy Kurt Cobain. Like I'm sorry, and
except
even
for
more
Andrea.
raggedy.
Andrea probably, but the actress isn't so bad. I've seen her in other stuff, and I don't mind her in other movies. I just didn't like the way. So I guess that's
She
really
had
more
that-
the way they wrote Andrea more than the casting.
She had that RBF,
but yeah.
that resting bitch face.
Yeah, but I think Dwight's the worst casting they've done. I mean, he's just terrible. Dwight's like this beefy kind of.
What second
Daryl-
worst casting? I think we know who the first worst
Daryl
casting
could have been
was.
Dwight if you want to be quite frank about it. Just imagine Daryl, with the vest
Yeah.
and no sleeves and half his face burnt and he doesn't even have to use eye drops. Remember in the comics, every other frame Dwight's in, he's got the eye drop because his eyelids half burn off. Go back and read through the comics. He's always using eye
Yeah,
drops
I
because
remember now.
half his eye, and you will find out. We won't spoil that, but if you don't read the comics as to why his face is burnt, I imagine we'll find that out probably next episode. Now that we're in the sanctuary, I think from the previews I saw too, we're probably going to see Jesus because
Yeah,
it showed
yeah,
a zombie
that's
coming
all
off
that.
the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And remember Jesus, was kicking some
Remember
zombies off the
Jesus?
bridge. Remember
Jesus.
Jesus?
It feels so long since we've seen a lot of it. And it has been a while since we've seen a lot of these.
I really like Jesus. I want to see more of him this season. I really like, and I think a lot of the comic book fans do too, because Jesus is such a badass in the comics. I mean,
He knows karate.
and he's very, very good at it. But so yeah, I see Jesus and Aaron hooking up. I think Aaron's little buddy Eric, is that his name? Is that his lover, Eric or
Yeah.
whatnot? I think Eric's gonna die because Jesus. I mean, this was big, folks. If it spoils it for you, then obviously you don't read anything. But obviously they might not have announced it, but Jesus is gay. In the comics, he's gay. I don't know how they'll do it on the show, but if he's still gay like he is on I see Jesus and Eric getting together. I mean, not Eric. Sorry, Aaron. Getting together.
Yeah, and I think they're past. Like I don't even see them making a it'll probably be just like a little one-off spot, like
Right.
something about like.
I
I mean, I don't see. They're past the point where they make it like. Oh, sorry, buddy.
I feel bad for Aaron because when it was like they were all on the chopping block, like who did Negan kill? And everyone was like, it's definitely not going to be Aaron. Nobody likes him enough. I'm like, I like Aaron a lot. I agree. He's not a big enough character to have that big of an impact on the story quite yet. He's only been there for like 2 seasons. So, and he's just kind of scarce. But as far as liking the character, I really like the character. And even more so, I like the guy that plays him. The guy that-
Ross
Yeah,
Marquand or whatever.
he's-
Oh yeah, he does great.
he's awesome.
Go on YouTube and search his micro impressions.
So for the record,
Very
I
funny.
do like Aaron a lot. I just, I agree he wasn't quite as impactful enough for the show, but I do like him. I think if they can give him some more screen time as the show goes on, Aaron could become, a pretty big, get a pretty good following because he's just a really good character. He's actually like one of the few that's holding on to humanity. Like he will fight, but he knows how to be civil. Whereas Rick,
Yep.
when he goes savage, he just stays savage for a while.
And he and Jesus would make a cute couple.
They would.
One thing I loved about them outing Jesus in the comic, it wasn't even like a big thing. Like they didn't mention his sexuality at all, and then just all of a sudden you see a panel of him and dude with a guy. It was a lot like Willem Dafoe in Boondock Saints. All
Yeah.
of a sudden.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure I wouldn't be surprised if they drew inspiration from that, like the way they just introduced it. 'Cause you just didn't have no clue because he's not like, "Hey y'all, I'm here to save the day." Next frame, he's just laying in bed with a dude. And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Jesus is gay."
How do you like that?
How you like them apples? But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed on this episode. Morgan's got a young kid that apparently only needs about 7 minutes worth of stick training to become an expert. Yeah. I'm like, how long have they been there, man? I took martial arts and I took weapons training. I can tell you right now, to learn to use a stick, it's going to take a lot more than
like 8 or
a
9
day
minutes?
or two.
He's a natural.
To be that good at it, unless I guess, like I said, he's just a natural. Like
Maybe
this
the force is strong with him, yeah.
But young protege. Again, Ezekiel. I'm thrilled with the casting going forward with this show. Like, I love Negan. I really like Ezekiel. I even like Richard. Like, I the guy that with his right hand man. I like Richard. So I'm really excited to see where this show is going to go. I think they might start picking it back up. I thought they kind of slacked off.
They are like
except
I've
for
seen a lot of
season
people.
6. Now, season 6 I thought was one of the best seasons I've ever seen in The Walking Dead. It was consecutively good. You had like 1 or 2 slow episodes. The rest were all really good and just twisting and so I think The Walking Dead's moving back towards good things.
Oh, me too,
so.
man. 'Cause like you said, normally this would be like a typical filler episode where you're just like, all right.
Yeah, whatever.
But it was genuinely a
I mean,
nice
it
story.
was a filler episode, but I also feel like it was one of those. It was an
Yeah.
important filler episode.
Well, it's
I
a
get
filler
that,
episode to an extent, but I disagree. I don't really consider it filler because Ezekiel is going to be a huge. This is not a side character like bringing in Noah or this is a guy that is going to have a huge influence on the way this whole war against Negan's going to go. Like Ezekiel will be, Ezekiel's big. I mean, Ezekiel's not just some side character. I mean, he's big.
yeah.
So I really feel like this. I really enjoyed it. I was so happy because I was just nervous. I was like, this guy is just, I don't know, And then he played. I was like, oh my god! Within the first few minutes, I was like, I'm cool. This is Ezekiel.
It was good,
awesome.
but I was tired yesterday, but I fell asleep like halfway through it and had to finish it.
Well, you just don't like The Walking Dead nearly as much as JP and I do.
Yeah,
either,
I'm definitely the middle ground in this one. Like, but I was telling my friend the other day, I was like, I'm the kind of person that I'll call bullshit on it if I don't like it, and if I like it, I gotta really like it. But I mean, it was okay. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. That's all I can say. I don't know. Well,
unlike Matt, I was very thrilled with it, and I am very hopeful. I think that good things are on the way for The Walking Dead.
There were good things in it. Good things happened, and I like some of the stuff that they're doing, but I just feel like I need to be more informed before I make a proper decision.
Well,
so right now, for how many stars, it's going to be a question mark.
Well, I need how many stars on the episode. You saw the episode.
Yeah, well, okay, well... I mean, a question mark kind of looks like a 7.
We'll wrap that up.
So let's go with a 7 with a dot.
We'll wrap that
underneath
up with the what you thought. I'm going to give the episode like a good 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was a slower episode. It's good when they make a slower episode that I enjoy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give that like a. You know what? I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Oh,
Jeez.
whoa!
I don't even know where to go now.
Geez, save some for us.
I really enjoyed it. Like I guess as a comic reader, you see these characters on the page, and then. You get so excited when they're on the screen, and then when someone comes in and completely nails the role, it just is a whole different experience for you.
So maybe that's where I'm coming from, because as a non-comic book reader of the series, I don't get that same enjoyment that you get because I don't see them coming in. So when I see this character, it's like a new character to me, whereas it's fulfilling. It's like when I go see a Marvel movie, I'm seeing these people that I have followed in the comics and whatnot, and on cartoons. I'm seeing them on live screen. You get so excited. Like Doctor Strange, getting ready to come out.
Which we're reviewing, by the way. Next Monday, we're going to have a review.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, by the way, JP, we're doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go see Doctor Strange and we're reviewing it.
So you're caught up with us. We're going to trip acid and go see it.
Oh, boy. Now
So there we go.
Yeah. Now I'm much more excited.
But no, I get where you're coming from on that, like, because you're seeing these characters being brought to life, and there's an added excitement to that. But for people like me, I get
to watch my dad.
See,
now my dad too was very happy with Ezekiel. He doesn't read the comics, and he was like, "Man, this dude's badass." And then
I
Richard,
agree with that.
He was like, "Richard's awesome too." So I gave that episode an 8.5. Like when it's a slow, like all right. For instance, I still say one of the worst episodes, and it's just me. Hate on it all you want. I think one of the worst episodes, and I'd really have to go back. This is just the first one that stands out. No, anything with freaking Daryl by himself is if you don't have Daryl with Rick in them. It's just not as interesting. And that's just me. I'm sure the fangirl's like, I didn't know. I mean, yes, the Chupacabra episode where he's laying at the bottom of the hill and he's fighting imaginary Merle to get to the top, that is great. But like Daryl and Beth, their episodes bored me to death. My God. When they burnt down the place and were drinking moonshine and Daryl cried. And, I hated the Daryl and Beth episodes. Those to me were 100% pure filler. Like, I get you have to slow down. Last night was a great example of what I tried to tell somebody like 2 years ago. I was like, I get that you have to slow down sometimes for story. It can't be high octane every episode, but you can keep it interesting. Daryl and Beth bored me to death. You could have summed up their entire episode in about a 5-minute scene.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, that's filler.
Which is funny because Daryl and Beth, if they were a couple, their name would be Death.
Oh, my God. And Beth died, and maybe Daryl will die. So, for me, it's like this one didn't bother me as bad.
That's so weird.
Yeah, natural causes.
And why he ain't hit that out in the woods?
She was like 16, wasn't she?
Well,
She
there's
was
no
on the
rules.
show.
It's post-apocalyptic.
She was probably totally down for it, though. There was an episode
Yeah.
earlier where she like kissed Planet One on Rick's cheek, very long. You remember that? It
Oh,
was the
yeah.
flashback. It was the episode, I think it was the end of season 4. No, excuse me. Yeah, the end of season 4 where Rick, is flashing back, remembering when Herschel was trying to get him to teach Carl how to farm. He taught him how to farm and wanted Carl to learn how to farm. And, Rick's all like, you're not going to need your gun. And Herschel had told Rick that, too. It was like, you ain't going to need that. You know what I'm talking about? This was after Herschel had died, and we were having flashbacks. I think it was season 4 finale. Beth, if you go back and watch that, when they get back, Beth gives Rick this long ass kiss on the cheek, and then it's kind of like gives him the screw me eyes.
Gives him the finger.
And then Rick is like he has a
telling you.
puzzled look on his face. So Beth probably would have jumped all over Daryl if he'd have just,
And plus, they didn't even know if they were ever going to see the group again. I mean, I'm just saying it would have been the best opportunity.
Which I feel like
We
that's
have
something
to
they're gonna
reproduce.
They're probably going to start. They're probably going to start exploring that with Carl because he's at that age where like his hormones are like running wild.
Oh, him and Enid are definitely going to be.
I bet that's who he loses his virginity to.
Yeah.
They're going to be shooting a 70s movie. Certain type.
I mean, if you've not seen the Rick and Negan scene with the 70s porn music into
man.
it,
Oh, God.
you really should look it up and do yourself a favor. I've watched it probably 20 times and laughed every time. I like when he's like,
Yeah.
It was very homoerotic.
That's funny.
Simon's my right-hand man. Do you have one of those? But so I'm trying to think. I don't think we left anything out. I really loved Ezekiel. I loved it when he leveled and we because that was what I was hoping. Because the comics and the show, like with Negan, the one thing they left out in the show, they're portraying him just as a straight up villain. Negan, in his own mind, was providing a protection racket.
Right.
They were like, well, we want half your stuff, but we come to your place and we clear out all the zombies. We keep you safe. Whereas the show, to my knowledge, they've pretty much just been like, you give us half your stuff or I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping they weren't going to like just leave King Ezekiel as this like demented guy. Like I was like, please give us his thing. And then when he sat down with Carol, I was like, oh yes, what a good scene. And that was a great scene between him and Carol where he just, opened up and told her.
I think
Everything
it'll be
about
good
it.
for Carol, living out there in that little house, just keeping to herself. She needs some me time.
Yeah. He brought the tiger with him too. That's badass.
Yeah.
So I ended with an 8.5. What do you rate it, JP?
Oh, geez.
Matt, yeah, we're saving you for last
Thank
because
you.
I know where this is going.
I don't want to go 7. And I feel like I'd be a little silly to go higher than an 8.5. I'll go at an 8, I guess. I really
You can
like
match 8.5. There's no reason, it's not like we're going to a party wearing the same shirt. You can
Do
match
you, bro?
if you feel in your heart that you want to match
That
what I
awkward
said.
moment.
Do it. You're not copying me.
One of us has to go change.
I think I've matched y'all's ratings
I'm
before.
going to be like that one prick on The Price is Right. I'm going to go 8.49.
Okay. So 8.49.
I did that
Is that
right.
how that works?
You
Yeah,
did
yeah.
it
I was
right.
thinking
Yeah,
Price is
okay,
Right
yeah.
rules. Yeah, you're right. Oh, I always hate that person.
Yeah.
$1. You bitch. Okay, I said earlier like a 7.
As
looks like
the
a question mark,
episode.
but as the episode itself, I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
Just because it was a good episode, but I just was not that into it. And I just
You probably
I
would
don't know,
just
man,
burn
this
out from the day, though.
Well, yeah, but
Matt
also
and I
this
worked a
summer-
race.
I don't know, man. It was a really good first episode, and like you said, this was a lot calmer. And,
I think that's what they
a
were
lot
shooting
different
for, though,
change of
because
pace, but it's like, no.
the last 2 episodes we've seen were so heart racing and on the edge of your seat, which is what I like. But I think they were like, okay, this one we need to make the second episode a little more lighthearted.
Right, it's been since like what March or April when
Yeah,
they
it was a
ended
long
for the season. So
time,
I've
yeah.
been waiting forever for this, and then we finally get the episode, and it's good.
It
and
was
I like that we
amazing.
had to wait, and now it's like, don't do it again.
And I've got to give a shout out too to that cool Walker kill. We rode by and chopped the front of that zombie's face off. How awesome was that? That was cool.
That
So
is
Carol
always
was tripping balls a little bit. I'm trying to think. I know we left out a lot, but
And I want more. I want more Morgan.
more
I'm ready-
Morgan.
Yeah, I'm ready for more Morgan.
I think
More
we all-
Morgan.
The whole episode was about.
Well, I know, but I
Morgan
want
and Carol.
more.
Oh,
I
you
want more
Morgan.
Like I will, because this is the first time that we've dealt with him since the season
and you
finale.
got to
of
remember,
last-
they don't know either. They
Right.
don't know that Glenn and Abraham have been killed. I mean, how do you think Carol and Morgan are going to handle it?
Like that's the thing. Carol, I could give or take, but I definitely want a show of just Morgan.
Really?
Yeah, man, I like him, dude.
You want like a Morgan spinoff?
Yeah, I would love a Morgan spinoff. like him and Negan become roommates, and it's just like, one's the clean one and one's the messy one, and Negan's always racist and Morgan's always hitting him in the face with a stick, and it's great, really
That'd
good.
be great.
This fall on Fox.
Yeah.
I think that we might see Morgan start going. Like, I think Morgan's becoming more accepting of the fact that he's got to kill.
Yeah,
You know, like
and
he's
that's what I'm saying. I
starting
want to see
finally
more.
loosen
I
up.
want to see more of Morgan, like more of his story.
Carol, I think I like Carol a lot, but I really don't know. Like they need to figure out a way to, which I liked her a lot last night, but I just hope they can continue to make her interesting because her character is kind of like Sasha. Sasha to me is boring. Like we've seen it all. She's been the cool, whatever, and then she's also been like the psycho. I'm just letting go of everything. Screw it. I hate life, and I'm going to go lay on a pile of walkers and lose my mind. Now I'm straight again, and now she's probably going to go off. It gets to the point where it's like, okay.
I do want to see the aftermath of the group. Like,
oh yeah,
I want to.
That's
see
what everybody's wondering. Like, I want to
see.
see the ride back. Like, what do they say? Are we going to even see a ride back? Maybe it'll just flash forward to them. I hope it isn't one of those things where they flash forward in the future after it's all done, and it's like, no,
I'm not the fan of that.
I want to see how they reel. I mean, you want the emotion. That's part of the experience.
Like, don't give me the present and then go back and give me flashbacks. No, show me what happens up to that point.
Andrew Lincoln's. I mean, I want to see him cry more. When he cries, I feel. And he blows snot bubbles. Which
yeah, he
tells you
does,
that.
man.
I feel. That's legit. That's legit.
Some legit snot
when you blow
bubbles,
big snot bubbles like that, you just DGAF.
It's those British actors. They know the secrets.
No, they got to go. And that's what Ezekiel. I was like, I bet he's British.
That's funny.
Which, if he was, I was like, how talented is this guy? Like, he's British, and he has to do like a somewhat American interpretation of King's speech, and then he's got to do a straight up like American, just chilling. Like, all right, here's what's up, and then he's actually British. I was like, he's a dude playing a dude who's playing another dude, but actually he is.
But no, yeah, I did
American,
like that.
so.
I did like his. I mean, he's awesome. I'm really looking
he
forward to
nailed
his
that role.
But I just don't know this episode overall. I need more. I need more closure from the other from the first episode.
I can understand that.
I've said a while back that I don't understand why they don't flash, but I guess they'd run out of. They would be a lot more in each season if they did that. But you know what? But then again, that's why Game of Thrones seasons are shorter. Game of Thrones could drag it out for 16 episodes and show you each person's. But what they do is they know you want to flash around and see what everybody's doing, so they put it all together. But as a consequence, they only do about 8 episodes a season.
Have you guys seen that first promo poster for next season of Game of Thrones?
Which one, the dragon?
The Night King on the zombie dragon?
But I read that was photoshopped.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I don't believe
check.
any posters that I had a guy at work who was like, "Hey man, did you see this?" And it was a poster
of
for
like Friday.
Yeah, it was like the new Friday movie
it's
or
all
something.
clips from other movies with
right,
them
and
in
I'm
it.
reading at the bottom. He was like, "Is this real or fake?" Because everybody's saying it's fake, and I think it's real. And I'm looking at it, and the first thing I go to is the credits down at the bottom.
Yeah.
So it's like of course, like all the big hip hop artists, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ludacris, were like on the soundtrack, and then it had like random names of people, and then the last thing on there was directed by. This is not a real poster.
Yeah,
and I told her, I was like, "Bro, it says it right there. This is not real."
Same thing with Medea and Big Mama. They said they were going to make a movie of that.
That was
The
it. It was
trailer,
Big Mama's.
says under the
Medea's
bottom,
Big Mama
this
or
is not
something,
real.
yeah.
So I'll check into that. But somebody had showed where it was somebody had taken a scene of the dragon from another episode and then just photoshopped it and had put it in that. But I could be wrong. That was just me reading the comments. But
same thing when they photoshopped Ronda Rousey into Captain Marvel's costume.
Yeah.
Like she's been. I was like, that looks fake.
I don't want Ronda
It amazes me
Rousey
how
in
people, guys out there, please, always don't take everything you see on the internet at face value.
Always
do your research before you go back and tell.
There's very
stuff.
few sources. If I see like the name as published it, I pretty much just know it's legit. But that's very few and far between.
And like we do, if you're speculative of something, preface it with, okay, I don't know if this is true or not, but I read somewhere, I saw. But yeah, always do your research.
It's easy.
I work with
just
too many people who take everything for granted.
Oh, yeah.
They think that mermaids exist because they saw a documentary on
The
Animal
Loch
Planet.
Ness Monster.
Like
Such a
not
great
even like they're not
documentary.
messing with me. They're serious. Oh, they got it on camera. I was like, okay.
That was a
I'm not even gonna try to have this
a
conversation.
mockumentary. That was to be
Not
fake.
even, it even says in the credits, this is not a real documentary. But people are very gullible nowadays.
When you see something like a poster or a promo and you get excited for something that seems too good to be true, Google official so-and-so
Yep.
promo or poster, and more than likely, if it's not real, you won't find anything.
if it's on
Or
Facebook,
if you
just
do,
assume it's a lie. Go ahead and just
no
assume it's
kidding.
false. So you're all smart. You listen to us, so we know you're smart.
we know you're smart. So we thank you guys so much for listening. As always, go like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter is pitiful. Facebook's getting
We'll work
getting
on it.
there, but our Twitter's pitiful, folks. I don't think a lot of our listeners are tweeters, but if you tweet,
I don't think Twitter's ever going to get that big.
right. It just destroyed Vine.
Yeah.
But so go subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. We're going to do a lot more content coming up soon. I think JP and myself are talking about doing some comic podcasts, doing comics. We're going to start doing some movies. We're going to try to come up with a full-fledged 10-minute show where we kind of review everything under the sun that we can think of. So lots of exciting things happening. I've been saying that for a whole year, but I promise you, it's going to get exciting.
I'm going to start a podcast of Gregorian chants. It's just going to be me constantly for 30 minutes, just
and I think that our listeners are ready for something like that.
Or is it like a djembe or rambe? I don't know what the thing's called. I don't know.
Incredible. Well, happy Halloween.
Thank you. You're so excited. I appreciate your support.
Happy Halloween. We hope that you are safe as you're out and about. And here's something, too. If you have kids, or because my girlfriend's nephew is dressing up as Negan for Halloween, and he actually has a pretty cool setup. I'll show y'all some pictures on my phone of the prototype, I guess. But it looks really good.
That's cool.
If you've gotten Caitlin Howard, is that her name, right?
Yes.
Shared a video. I got that. I think it was her kid as Rick Grimes. So if you have
I saw that.
If you have
with
kids,
the stubble
it was
and
awesome.
everything.
It was awesome. So if you are dressing your kids up in Walking Dead attire, or yourself in Walking Dead, or someone you know's kids, or just some random kid on the street, ask their parents and then take permission of the kid and post it to our Facebook or send it to us. I'd love to see them. So yeah, happy Halloween, and we'll see you next week. I'm Justin.
I'm Matt.
And I'm JP, and I'm hungry.
Oh, let's go get something.
Let's get
that's a
food.
good idea.
Yeah.